Welcome back, everybody. So let's talk blades. That's what we're into. Today I got for you a couple of Ganzo Firebirds. These are just knockoff quality knives that have been copied from more expensive models from more expensive knife companies. These two that I have for you today, one of them is kind of familiar. I'm sure you guys can figure that out. This is reminiscent of the Benchmade Bedlam. This was given to me as a gift from somebody. I was telling them how much I wanted a Bedlam, and at the time they were sold out. And these don't cost very much at all. They're budget knives, so if you're into low quality steel and it doesn't bother you, then these knives are probably the way to go. They're not bad. They're just copies of more expensive knives, and they're given different names so that way they can get away with copying the knife. This one, I don't know. I think this is a copy of something other, more expensive. You'll see the identification numbers on these knives, but I like the blue anodization. I think that's kind of a nice touch. And this is carbon fiber. I don't know if that's real carbon fiber. I think it is. But there's the blade, and you can see the Firebird symbol right on there. Firebird. And of course, here's the information. So model number is F753 440C stainless, made by Ganzo. These are budget folders. No ifs, ands, or buts. Budget folders. If you're looking for cheap, functional knives that don't break the bank at all, these knives cost anywhere between $20 and $40. I think the most expensive Ganzo knife I've seen was $60. Don't know where, don't know why, but I haven't seen any Ganzo Firebird knife as very expensive. And at 440 stainless, you can't go wrong, to be honest with you. That is a very, very beginner steel. It is a very cheap steel, and you can find it on a lot of cheap knives, swap meet knives, garage sale knives maybe. 440 stainless is a very common steel. It was even more common in knives way back in the day, as far as I'm told. So there's that one, and then here's the Bedlam copy. Firebird. And then on the back, model number is F712 440C, made by Ganzo. So yeah, this feels great in the hand, but I gotta tell you, that pocket clip causes such a hot spot. Such a freaking hot spot. But cool thing is, it's a deep carry pocket clip, so you're only going to have this part sticking out of your pocket if it doesn't really bother you too much. The lip on these things are kind of aggressive, so be really careful. It is milled out, as you can tell, for weight reduction, because this is a big knife, so that's always nice. This one, yeah, it's milled out. I can kind of see it a little bit. Yep, milled out for weight reduction, which is always appreciated. And yes, they do come with these bags. They're both the same bags. The only difference is I just flipped one over so that way you can see that it has Ganzo tools on one side, Firebird on the other. Or, well, this one actually just came with just Firebird. Interesting. This one has Ganzo and Firebird on that side, so I guess it just depends. They're all different, I assume. I think I like this one more. For a fake, it still feels good, and it's probably reminiscent of a more expensive knife. So, lanyard hole is huge on this thing, and it's kind of like an oval. And you can switch the pocket clips from left to right hand, but it's only tip-up carry, which is fine. Same thing with this one. Oh, no, or not. Excuse me. I thought that this one, I must have been going crazy. I thought this one was able to switch. You can't switch this one at all. Oh well. And I really have no idea why this cutout is here. Because there's this cutout here, it's like it's missing a part. What was supposed to be there, I have no idea. It's really odd. Maybe there was supposed to be a lanyard hole here, and they just cut it way too, and they just said, forget it. That's the only thing I can think of. They were like, oh, we forgot the oh, well. We'll just leave it as is. No one needs a lanyard hole. So there's a little bit of a half-ass lanyard hump right there, I guess. I just noticed that. That's ridiculous. So I don't know, maybe I got a mess up. Or maybe they're all like this. Either way, it's horrible. That is G10 on the handle scales. I'm sorry, I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it just seems like that could have been a lanyard hole. They just didn't really finish it. Or maybe they did and they just didn't think no one would notice. I don't know. It's just so silly to me. Yeah, G10 handle scales. And grip is there. It just feels really good. The jimping on here on this side of the blade is probably the only spot that really has that kind of grip on there. Feels good. Just the only thing is that pocket clip creates a huge hot spot because of how highly raised it is. Huge hot spot. So you can't really get a full real grip on there anyway. So let's go ahead and go into the specs here on both knives. If you're interested, you can get both of these on Amazon. That's where I got both of these. No, that's where both of the... I shouldn't say that's where I got both of these. That's where they both came from anyways. So the carbon fiber one is 4.49 ounces. The Bedlam Fake with the half-ass lanyard hole is 5.46 ounces. And why not? We'll go into length, because length is importante. So a little over 3.5, so 3 3/4 inch blade with an overall 3 1/4 inch, excuse me, 8 1/4 inch overall. And then with the Bedlam Fake, you're looking at, 3.5 inch blade with an overall 8.5 inch handle. It's that sweep, man. That sweep on that blade looks pretty aggressive. It's pretty good. They're different. This one kind of swings freely. This one not so much. This one's kind of rough on the opening and on the closing. It's like you gotta kind of flick it closed. Yeah, if you're interested in them, check them out. They're good little budget folders. Anything that says Ganzo, Firebird, I have to admit, they're just cheap versions of more expensive models. Oh, before I forget, let's get the calipers out, see how wide they are. So on the carbon fiber, you got 12.7 on the handle and 3.1 on the blade. And on the Bedlam Fake, you got a 17.3 on the handle and a 3.4 on the blade. So this one's a little heavier though. I think I like this one better. For a cheap, this actually looks expensive. For a cheap knife, this looks like an expensive knife. If it's kind of tough to open and close, just kind of work it in, mess around with it, play with your knives, people, so that way you can work it in a little bit, and the pivot will loosen up a little bit. It'll make you feel a little better at the end of the day. Plus, whenever I need to relieve a little bit of stress, I bust out my knife and I fidget with it. I just open it and close it depending on what kind of locking mechanism it has. The most fun locking mechanism, I have to say, is the access lock, or anything resembling the access lock. It's just really fun for me to play with, and it's super easy to open and close quickly. As far as functionality, obviously every knife is different, or every knife company does it differently with their locking mechanism and how they do what, and what makes them unique. So with that being said, Ganzo Firebird has stolen the access lock, because that's technically what this is. It's just a little bit bigger, but it operates the same exact flippin' way. So if you want a cheaper version of an access lock without having to pay access lock prices, Benchmade, what I would do is go and get a Firebird Ganzo or a Ganzo Firebird. Whatever, it's both the same company, so don't freak out. Ganzo and Firebird are both the same. So, and they're cheap. They're really cheap. So, under $30 you could get a knife that is resembled to be a copy of a more expensive model. So why not? Anyways, that's my review on these two Ganzo Firebirds. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for the support.